If you've been to a Charlotte Knights baseball game in the last few years,
the guy's got moves.
He's a true host every single night.
And he's got a little bit of a following here.
Or a Charlotte Hornets basketball game.
He is an absolute Charlotte sports legend.
Or a Charlotte Checkers hockey game.
I went to a game and I was like, wow.
Or even a local concert. There's a pretty good chance you've seen him.
He's awesome.
And he's always there putting on a good show for the crowd.
And really, really fun to watch.
In all his dancing glory.
This has grown into something that I never imagined.
I'm somewhat introverted, and a lot of people find that really hard to believe.
In some ways, Jim Kovas is an attraction all himself.
You don't know anything about Charlotte sports if you don't know Jim.
Known around town as the dancing Usher, Jim is a local celebrity of sorts.
I would put him above Elaine from Seinfeld. And maybe just a notch below, I don't know, Fred Astaire.
Everywhere he goes, people now recognize him.
Entertaining crowds with his moves.
And I get a lot more out of it than they do. It's therapeutic for me.
And he doesn't do it because he wants himself to get a pat on the back. He does it because he has fun out here and he wants the fans to have fun.
It all started about 8 years ago when Jim's 4 sons were in college, all at the same time. His salary as a director at the Arrow Point Federal Credit Union was good, but not good enough to pay for college tuitions. So he went looking for a second job.
I saw an ad in the paper for the Charlotte Knights. It was their last season in Fort Mill that they were looking to fill game day positions.
At around the same time, Jim was packing on the pounds, and his sons gave him an earful.
So I ballooned up to about 265 pounds, and I kept it on. And I looked at some pictures of myself, and I said, you know, they're right. I'm starting to look like a fat dad. And I didn't feel good. So I started taking Zumba classes and trying not to fall down, and eventually I got fairly good at it. That led to me starting to lose weight. I was sleeping better, I was eating better.
Those Zumba moves started carrying over to the baseball stadium.
Mary, one of my fellow ushers there, and she started dancing, and so I said, if Mary can dance, I can dance too. And lo and behold, I found that while they were playing music and they weren't doing anything on the field, that some of the fans kind of got a kick out of it.
A year later, when the Knights moved to Uptown, so did Jim. With sold-out games, his audience was now bigger than ever.
Sweet Caroline, ba, ba, ba.
I told him, I said, you are going to be famous doing this.
So good, so good, so good.
Not often you see someone that's willing to dance and kind of just take the spotlight for a little bit just to entertain the fans.
He moves better than some 18-year-olds out there.
It's what minor league baseball is all about, and forget that, it's what sports are all about. You're there to have a good time, you're there to enjoy yourself, and Jim makes that part of the experience.
He dances, he sings, he also carries with him an array of handwritten signs, usually with some witty joke written on them, all to keep smiles on the faces of his regulars in Section 117.
His jokes, they're really funny.
He wakes up in the middle of the night, writes them down, he'll be at a stoplight, he'll write one down.
Among those taking notice of all his antics, the Charlotte Hornets, who then hired Jim 3 years ago to bring the same kind of energy to their games.
The Hornets said, yeah, let's bring this guy on. And so eventually I wound up on the floor in my little corner at Section 115 and 116.
He brings so much to being at Hornets games. Like, we look forward to coming and sitting in 115 because we're right beside Jim. We're like, hey, we're going to see Jim tonight.
And I never really understood performers that said that they get that energy from the audience, but I do now, and I get a lot more out of it than they do. Hey, how are you? Great to see. It seems like forever since I've been here.
And when his schedule permits, Jim also works security at Checkers hockey games.
They usually do the chicken dance between the first and second period.
But what most fans don't realize about Jim is that he's in constant pain and should probably be the last person out there dancing.
I threw out a disc back in the early 90s, chopping a tree down that was knocked down by Hugo in my backyard. Found out I had spinal stenosis too, which is a narrowing of the spinal canal, kind of an arthritis-related thing. So I had bone growth between the L4 and L5 growing into the nerve that they had to cut out. If anybody was to see me going up the parking lot after a Checkers game or trying to walk to the link station, they'll look at me and say, aren't you the dancing guy? And almost, you can barely walk.
He walks with a noticeable limp, but still wipes down all the seats in his section before every night's game.
It's tough to get a real good night's sleep. My legs tingle. It's hard going in and out of a car. I realize that eventually I'll probably need a spinal fusion based on what my spine doctor has told me.
But it's that interaction with fans, helping to put smiles on their faces, that keeps him coming back.
When you see joy on a child's face, there's nothing like it.
He's 1 in a million.
We got upset one season because we thought he wasn't here.
Without him, it would definitely be like a whole different experience.
Because of the pain, Jim isn't sure how much longer he can keep this pace up. At some point, one or more of the local teams will likely lose his services.
But I'll do it until I can't.
But hopefully, that's not for a long, long time.
I don't have to do any of that, I just do it.
For Carolina Impact, I'm Jason TERZIS reporting.